And on the way, we have got coming in Paul Gardner and Rob King from Harby Harlequins. We'll preview their pantomime, Jack and the Beanstalk, being staged at Harby Village Hall from January 29th through to February 1st.
I always like Jack and the Beanstalk for obvious reasons.
I wonder why. I can't quite put my finger on why that is.
Theatre is such a fantastic thing to bring people together, so we'll definitely talk about all of that with Paul and Rob a little bit later this morning.
This morning we welcome Paul Gardner and Rob King from Harby Harlequins. Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yes, nice to see you back again for another one. And last year was Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, wasn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
And this
Can't
year,
believe it's a year since we were here before, you know.
It's mad, isn't
Where's it gone?
Time flies.
it certainly does. So this year, Jack and the Beanstalk.
That's the one.
That's it.
Yeah. So I'll just say it off air to you guys, and I said on air to Jack earlier on. He's got his own beanstalk. He hasn't.
Do we want to know about that?
Yeah, it's growing one in the back garden. And Mike and Bernie Winters, Theatre Royal. Crikey me, that's some years ago now.
Yeah, the poor man's Morecambe and Wise, as I remember.
I just said that as well, funny enough. They were the opposite to Morecambe and Wise, weren't they?
Yeah. Very goofy, wasn't he?
Yes.
Who was that?
That was Bernie,
That was Bernie, yeah.
Oh, Jack, don't remember this, do you?
No, I don't.
Before your time.
Me neither.
No? Oh, well. There you go. Yeah,
If
interesting.
it was in the 80s, I'm afraid I wasn't here.
Oh, it was way before that.
Well, there we
70s,
go.
mid-70s, probably
Well,
early
I
70s.
definitely wasn't
Definitely
here.
wasn't here.
No. Oh, you missed out big time. The entertainment value back then, I tell you. Really, really good. Yeah, yes. So, I remember going to that very, very well. Probably 1970, something or other. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mike and Bernie Winters.
Showing your age now.
There's a blast from the past, yeah.
So Jack's going to go home later and get on Google and go, who's Mike and Bernie Winters?
Or YouTube.
Or YouTube, yeah.
I'll have a look. But it's interesting that you talk about theatre from, and how far back we could look at theatre. And also, it's never disappeared. It's not going anywhere. And it's fantastic to know that
certainly
it's here.
Panto hasn't. I mean, every year, Panto keeps going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is our 22nd year of Harby Harlequins Panto.
Oh, no, it isn't. Sorry, I've been really holding that back already.
Yeah, we'll do a few of those, I dare say.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Won't we, boys and girls?
He's behind you. Yeah, let's get them all out of the way now.
Yeah. That's one of your lines.
Yeah, absolutely. So, is Eddie Lilly still involved? Is he?
Eddie Lilly has wrote the script again
Good
this
on
year.
him. Yes, is he listening this morning?
Well, I hope he's listening this morning.
Yeah.
Hi, Eddie, if you are listening.
Yeah, very talented writer indeed. And,
Amazing. So you're part of the Harby Harlequins.
Yes,
and,
we are.
Can you tell us a bit more about, for those like myself who might not be 100% familiar about all the work that you do, what do you do?
I don't know.
Well, we do the panto each year, which is basically, I mean, we're we'd be put it a bit too strongly to say we're a drama group,
But we're all amateurs, really.
We're all amateurs. We get together round about
October
time to see what Eddie has written for us this year.
With a look of panic in our eyes every time,
Yeah, well, no, the panic comes when we start doing the music, especially for those of us like me who are somewhat
and me as well, yeah.
choreographically challenged.
Snap.
But it brings the village together really. Once a year, we do 5 shows, and it's just a blast. It really is.
We have opening night on the Wednesday for the OAPs and for senior citizens, and obviously ordinary members of the public can come as well to that. And then we have a good crack on the Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday matinee, and then the closing show on Saturday night.
And by the time that rolls around, you're back got the hang of what you're doing.
It doesn't really matter, does
And it doesn't really matter come Saturday night if you get it wrong.
Yeah, that's all part of it.
Everyone laughs along with you. That's the great thing.
Yeah. I remember one of your pantomimes we did come to see some years ago. I can't remember what it was, but the opening scene was Eddie Lilly dressed as a woman, ran down the centre aisle onto the stage, being chased by Private Short and Curly.
Yes, that's par for the course. Yeah,
That sounds like Eddie Lilly.
It's not. That's the thing about our pantos. They're not standard pantos. Eddie's scripts are a bit off the wall.
Definitely off the wall.
And it's no different this year. This is not a standard Jack and the Beanstalk script. No. And we've got witches in it.
Witches, prince,
a prince,
a butler,
a fairy,
a dame
who is dressed as a cowboy.
Yeah, a dame. Jack's mother.
It's a little bit different and a little bit wacky and off the wall, but that's the way we like it.
It's its usual standard Eddie Lilly show.
And what are your characters then? Who are you going to be playing throughout the show?
I'll let you go first, Paul.
Well, so I'm at the start. I'm Jinx, the butler to Prince Rupert, in his quest to find his lady Rapunzel, and basically playing second fiddle to the prince. And as the story continues all through, getting more and more annoyed that I'm second fiddle.
It's a kind of Jeeves type character.
Jeeves, yes, yeah.
Bertie Wooster and Jeeves, very
like I'm much better than the prince, really, and I should have the Princess Rupert, you know. And then as we get into the second half, I'm the Giant's secretary, Miss Huge. No jobs too small. GentleGiantEnterprises.com. Give us a call.
Oh, right.
Is that a line?
Yeah, that is a line.
Is that a plug for something else?
Yeah, no, that is a line. So if Eddie's listening, at least he knows I've got one line right.
Yes. Well, that's reassuring.
I was actually going to ask you that as my second question was going to be, can you give us that line? But you've been able to give us.
There you go. That is one of my lines. I'm sure Rob can have a go at giving us one of his in a minute.
I could recite the lot, but I won't do
he
so.
Could, but he might give you a little go.
Yeah, I'm the good old pantomime dame, a much more conventional panto character. Every good panto has to have its dame, and that's me. I've done that for the last 3 years.
Jack's mum.
I am Jack's mum, indeed, and I get to dress up in some rather nice frocks. So there's always a plus side to it, isn't there?
Yes.
And he gets to wear the bra again.
Oh, nice one.
But so do I. So do I.
Oh,
not the same one, I hope.
Well, no, we won't fit in.
Lifts and separates. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, well, let's not go there.
Yeah. So if all else fails on your lines, then Paul, you can always go the one you just mentioned earlier on, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have got a prompt.
Yes.
But Paul never gets his lines right until the opening line, and then he's perfect.
Yeah, I don't do I. All through rehearsal, I'm pretty rubbish, and I struggle all with my lines. And I mean, Rob, that he's completely opposite to me. You know, he knows from the word go his lines, and he's brilliant. Rob, out of the whole group, knows his lines, and I stumble and trip over my lines all through the rehearsals, cursing, and the prompts pulling his hair out. You know, but come opening night, we normally do pull it together, and it goes very well.
Yeah. And how long have you both been involved in the Harby Harlequins and doing these pantomimes for?
Well, I think the first show that the Harlequins did was 99, so it's 22 years. I think the first one I did was 2001 or 2002. Okay. So I've been doing them since then. I've missed one or two due to other commitments, but so I've been involved for almost 20 years. But
this is my 5th year.
Ah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we've got it's quite good because we've got a mix of old hands who have been doing it since the start, but each year we get some new people in and a bit of new blood, and that sort of refreshes it, gives us a bit more, a bit
new
more dynamism, energy, enthusiasm.
It's good when we get the kids in because they add a new spin on it, a bit more enthusiasm, like a bit more of a bubbly outlook and laugh to it, because kids are funny, aren't they? So
yeah.
And they put us all to shame with the acting, really.
Right off. Well, that's not hard, though.
No.
Well, the great thing about panto, though, of course, is you don't need to be that good at acting, do you? I mean, it's the thing about panto is you can't be too over the top. So, as long as you shed your inhibitions and you just get up there and
go for it,
and don't worry. And if things go wrong, actually, that often makes it funnier.
Oh, it does, yeah.
The audience joins in, they laugh. You can make a joke of it, and actually, When I've been to see professional pantos, like I regularly go and see each year the one at the Playhouse in Nottingham, and it's often the funniest moment in the show when something goes wrong, and the people on
I
stage
can remember
just
last
crack up
year, Rob,
laughing.
when I was Prince Charming and you were the Dame, and I came on and I was supposed to say who I was, and I forgot my line, and you said, "Oh, he's forgotten who he is," and that got a really big laugh.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's yeah.
I've got lots of old videotapes. I've got some Steptones on video, and there's one I watch, and I didn't pick up on it until recently. Obviously, when it's on TV at the time, you don't sort of see it, but when you've had a chance to watch, they're doing a scene. Obviously, in those days, it was recorded live, wasn't it? It probably was.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's so funny now to watch it. They're in their living room area, their living room area in their house, by the old draw-leaf table there, and they're chatting away as they do, Steptoe and his dad, and suddenly there's an almighty crash in the background, and they kind of look, but just like carry on. And obviously a light went over. You could tell some kind of lamp went over. There was a heck of a smash, and it just carried on, didn't stop.
Consummate professionals, you see.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of years ago, I went to, I think it was the Theatre Royal, and I saw Joe Pasquale was doing one, and I have to say, he sort of went so off script so many times, and I think deliberately just to get some of the sort of raw reactions off the rest of the cast, and it just worked, and everybody was in hysterics.
Well, we're not allowed to ad lib really too much.
No, that's slightly. Well, I mean, it's for a good reason as well. I mean, you're absolutely right. In a professional company, they can ad lib, and a lot of ad libbing can make a panto actually. It can make it very funny. But I mean, we're an amateur company. We have a number of kids who are performing as well.
But we have got quite a smaller cast this year.
If you go off script too much, it can throw the next person.
Yeah.
So we're allowed a little bit of leeway,
play,
but not too much.
No.
I mean, we have no script here at all. We just don't have any script at all. In fact, we're just going to go. There's a script gone already. So.
Don't do that one to this. So this is
was that the weather?
Script. That's the weather. I do need that one for.
I think you ripped the wrong one there.
I did,
Oh dear.
Oh no, I didn't. Oh yes, I did. There we go. That's Ray Charles and Hit the Road Jack. We were with Paul Gardner this morning, Rob King from Harby Harlequins. And why that song, Paul? Did you mention?
Well, that's in our production, and I'd also like to dedicate that song to our scriptwriter Eddie Lilly.
Oh right, Hit the Road Jack. Indeed.
In there for obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons, yeah.
It's a good one. I sometimes like to play that at the end of some of the shows that I do, because,
You're Jack, of course.
Jack,
Well, just the fact that it's got the word Jack in makes sense.
Well, the day I say to hit the road, Jack, you're out of it. Hit the road, Jack.
I'm waiting.
And don't you come back no more.
That's it, don't come back no more. That's it, yeah.
By the time the end of the show comes, you get fed up of listening to the songs, and they just stick in your brain. And for the rest of the year after Panto finishes, you find yourself singing these songs.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, what am I doing?
So in terms of putting this together, what sort of process does it start? You talked about earlier it starts in sort of October time, but I'm guessing the script's been written in way before that.
Well, throughout the summer, Eddie Lilly, our director, he'll write the script throughout the summer in his own time, and then when it comes to late October, we'll have 2 auditions, casting, and we'll read through a couple of pages of a short script of the show, and then we'll have a 2-week break while they mull it all over, him and his co-presenter or co-director Paul Stewart, and then they'll mull it over and decide who and what character everyone has.
So then you all get together in sort of middle of November, then I'm guessing, with your roles to sort of start the rehearsals, and does that go through all the way to, I suppose, then
Christmas?
Show day?
Well, we have a 2-week break at Christmas.
It really takes off after Christmas. We're rehearsing probably once a week from mid-November up till Christmas, and then after Christmas,
January,
it's 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
It really starts getting a bit intense, especially when we realise that it's
2 weeks till opening night.
2 weeks to opening night, and some people still don't know their lines, and
like me,
mild panic starts to set in at that point.
Yes, it does.
But it's always all right on the night.
Yeah, we always pull it off as a team. We always pull it off. As Rob said earlier, I struggle with my lines all through rehearsal, but I'm all right. until the opening night. Don't you think, Rob?
But the music is introduced at quite a late stage. It's usually early, soon after Christmas that we get the music. So there's a lot of work to do on that, especially as there's sort of movement. I would hesitate to call it dance, but
Well,
a certain amount of semi-coordinated movement, as much as we can achieve. But it all looks reasonably okay.
Oh, it has. We've got a new dance choreographer this year, who we had sort of step in last year as our former dance choreographer retired from the show. We've got Helen Hubbard, who I'd just like to give a mention to, and she does a fantastic job. She's also Jack. And she was the Jolly Woodcutter last year.
She's our best actor by far.
She puts us all to shame, and she does a brilliant job of the dancing as well.
Yeah. Why in pantomimes do men play the dames and the girls play the fellas? It's a weird thing, isn't it? She's playing Jack.
I did see a documentary on this, actually.
Yeah. Tell us more, Jack. Come on. What do you know about it?
Yes, Jack, tell us.
I can't remember. The history of Panto, Volume 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can read all sorts of psychological things into that, can't you? I'm saying nothing on that score.
Hit the road, Jack.
Yeah, you mentioned Paul earlier on. Paul Stewart, yeah. And he's been with us a time or two over the years. I remember one pantomime you did. He was a baddie on a horse.
Oh, yes.
And he came down. And we weren't there on that particular night, but he did tell us that on that one occasion when the children were in, they hated him so much they all started throwing sweets at him.
He's very good in his role play. Perhaps he was a bit too convincing that night. Who knows?
He is very scary.
He can be, yes.
Yeah, he scares us all in rehearsals because he's helping with the directing, you see.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so that's when the audience participation gets a bit OTT.
Yeah, sometimes you have to tone it out. We always do this sort of finale routine. And for a couple of years, this involved using these sort of water pistols and firing water out of the audience, which we had to stop doing when the following year the front two rows of the audience came in with their own water pistols and started firing back at us. We thought, this is getting a bit silly, so we had
and with
to
electrical lights, etc. You have to be careful. You know?
I mean, your audience, as you guys know, and probably most of us know, your audiences are different every night.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah,
I can tell you about each audience. Wednesday night is OAP night, so
very tame,
and they're quite tame, but they're quite nice. They're quite understanding.
They throw themselves into it.
Yeah, they're quite understanding, and they laugh in all the right places, and it's quite nice. And what you need for an opening night. And Thursday, one of Marion, who's the fairy this year, she works for Pedigree Pet Foods, and all of her co-workers come, and they all call
them all of their chums. Actually, better carry on.
Yeah, hey, boom, 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 boom. They all come along, and they have a meal at the Nag's Head pub, and get quite well oiled, and so they're brilliant because they're all half sozzled, and they're all laughing and booing and hissing, and they really put a lot into it. And they come in fancy dress, some of them.
Oh wow!
So they're quite good.
Doesn't that get confusing with who's in the audience and who's on stage?
The wine glasses give it away. You know?
Yeah, it's a bit of a fluid sort of arrangement, isn't it?
So they're quite nice because they're very full on, and they laugh, and if you make a small mistake, they laugh even more, and they don't notice because they're all drunk. So, and then Friday's a bit more subdued.
Yeah, that's Fridays the people who wanted to come on Saturday but couldn't get tickets.
Yeah. Friday's a strange one, and then of course the Saturday matinee, and that's a altogether different show because kids. That's for the kids, and they laugh at things which you wouldn't think funny. They're like a lot of visual things, you know.
Well, a lot of Eddie's jokes are quite subtle, and they go over the heads of the kids. So, you're getting the matinee can be quite a strange one to do because, as Paul says, the kids laugh in totally different places. So you're sort of expecting a laugh because
you're thinking what we've done there
that you know is funny, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the kids will start roaring with laughter, and you think, well, what are they laughing at? But it's
strange. It's strange,
but it's good fun.
That's what I really, really like about Panto, though, is, and it only was when a few years ago I went to one and more of an adult and I just thought, I'm seeing this in such different lights that it's funny in, like you say, all the different places, and so I do wonder if some of those jokes for adults are written in deliberately, but actually as a byproduct of just a funny, good writer, but without realising that the jokes for the children are there, but like you say, without anybody really realising.
Well, what the children respond to, of course, is all the visual humour.
Yeah.
Like
so
the colour.
Have a lot of the colour and the costumes.
Like they love Europe, being the Dane, all your coloured dresses, etc.
So it is. You don't want to make it sound like War and Peace, but there's different levels to it.
Yeah. And then, of course, Saturday night's the best one,
because by then we do know our lives.
Yeah, by then we do know our lives, definitely. And that's, we always put a lot of effort, particularly, well, we do it in all of them, but in particularly to the Saturday night, because it's the big one to go out with a big bang on, and, we all get a bit sad as it's the last show, or a bit relieved sometimes,
But audience interaction, it's such a key part of panto. It really is, far more so than any other type of theatre. You've got to have some response from your audience. Otherwise, it just falls flat.
Yeah, there's some good talents around, isn't there? 'Cause when we've been to yours before and what have you, there's some. I remember one guy played a character part, and he was almost like Prince Charles.
Oh,
and you've got the big ears. Was he the pub landlord at the time?
No, he was the vicar.
The vicar, that's right. Yeah, and he kind of stole the show because he was so Prince Charles lookalike. It was unreal.
And he had the most fantastic Prince Charles accent well. He really took that up. Yeah.
So this happened to me when I was I'll never forget it. We did, this was a school performance, so I would have been about 10. And I played Fagin out of Oliver Twist.
Oh yes.
But the way in which it had been written was that Oliver was somebody called Molly, who was quite small child. She was always quite small, but they had printed out this massive £5 note as a prop, and it was like nearly double the size of Molly. And so for some reason, one of the performances, I just found it hilarious and just absolutely broke down in sort of laughter, which then got everybody else laughing. And then I'll never forget just turning to the teacher and just getting a little sort of like a get on with it sort of through gritted teeth. But actually everybody afterwards came up and was like, it was just brilliant how it was just natural.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit like our giant when he comes on, fee, fi, fo, fum, and he's only small.
He's a little lad.
He's only about 8 or 9.
That's a good bit of visual humour.
And that's because he comes on and you don't see him to start with. He's got
where's the giant?
Got a megaphone, and then he comes on and it's just a little kid.
That's fantastic. So do you do any other performances throughout the years, or is the pantomime sort of the big thing that everybody works to?
Well, this summer just gone, we did a summer show for the first time, which we have not done for several years. And that was a one night with like little sketches that was written by Kevin Beckham, who does our scenery. I'd also like to give him a mention. He does a fantastic job painting all the scenery every Saturday and trying to recruit help from all the rest of us who occasionally are able to go down to the hall to help, and he does a fantastic job, so I'd just like to give him a mention and thank you very much.
The summer show is a much more of a sort of impromptu thing, and we do it intermittently. It's not every summer, but it's sort of sketches, a bit of music, minimal rehearsal.
We have one rehearsal.
But, it's just that's just good fun, and it means we get together again at another time of the year, because it's nice to see everyone again.
Yeah, and you raise a bit of money for a local charity.
Amazing. So do you regularly do sessions and come together throughout the year, or
well, trying to get everyone together in the summer is extremely hard, but we try and have a meet up in the summer. We have a post panto meal, you see, which is nice because obviously through rehearsals we spend quite a lot of time with each other, and we do get really close, and then as soon as that last show because we have an after party on the Saturday night and then clear out on the Sunday, and we're normally in depression for 3 months until it comes around again. And
it is quite a downer, actually.
It is a very downer.
Last night, it's a strange sensation, because you put a lot into that, and there's a lot of adrenaline as well, and
a lot of company. You spend a lot of time with each other,
and suddenly that buzz isn't there anymore. and you think, oh, well, I've got my life back now, but what am I going to do with it? Because it does tend to take over a bit, particularly in those last few weeks when it's rehearsing almost every night. It does tend to take over a bit.
And particularly me, I'm now very sad at the end of.
Oh yeah, you're almost crying.
I am almost crying that it's over because it's a social thing as well as you know the serious side of acting, you know, and. When it stops, you're like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to see everyone each day, you know? Because we do get very close as a group.
Yeah. So rehearsals today, this afternoon?
Yep, 2 o'clock this afternoon. That'll be a long rehearsal. Right. We may even have the band in for the first time, I'm not sure. Possibly.
Not sure it's today.
But soon.
How long are your rehearsals normally on a standard sort of rehearsal?
Well, 7:30 till 10 o'clock.
This one will be 2 till 5 today, so we'll run through it probably a couple of times. And then evenings, 7:30 till 10. Wow. So it's they're quite long sessions.
So that's why we spend a lot of time with each other.
But my goodness, we do need them.
Yeah, we do.
It sometimes feels when you get to this stage and there's only sort of a couple of weeks to go, you think this is never going to come together because it all feels a bit shambolic. But somehow it always does.
Pulls off, doesn't it?
Yeah,
he says, and I hope we're not tempting fate this year.
Touch wood.
Because I don't remember we talked about this off air and that sort of that click moment where you just sort of go, oh.
We sort of had that click moment the other night on Thursday at rehearsal because on Wednesday we were all pretty rubbish and poor Stuart, who's this year obviously helping Eddie with the directing, said this is terrible, but it's sort of on Thursday it was slightly better.
Yeah, but it also gets to the point where you need an audience, where you're rehearsing and the jokes are no longer funny because you've heard them so many times.
Yes,
and you need that spark that you get from an audience and the audience laughing at you. I think, oh, actually, it is funny, isn't it?
Do you do a dress rehearsal in front of a live audience?
Yeah. Should do.
We do a dress rehearsal. It's not in front of an audience. Well, I mean, there's a few people there.
Yeah.
But I suppose in some ways the Wednesday night it's a kind of dress rehearsal because you know the senior citizens come in free then, and they're very understanding if not everything is absolutely slick. So, you do get to the point where you do need an audience to spark off of, and that kind of brings it all together as well.
Just taking a little break there for Cam, and then we're going to come back after this. This is Tom Robinson Band, 2468 Motorway. Paul, why do you want this one?
I'd like to donate this one to our script writer, our scenery decorator and general helping hand, Kevin Beckham.
It's a good song, that one, because at least it keeps you all on beat. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah. We just got to learn the dance moves.
Well, you'd like to think so. I mean, some of us struggle to have any sense of rhythm, so staying on beat even to that is a challenge, but there we are.
Just finally, ticket details for the night, some prices, etc., and where you can get hold of them?
Yes, if you'd like to tell us, Rob.
Yeah, the tickets are £8 for adults, £4 for children, except on Saturday nights when they're all £8. Wednesday evening, as I said, senior citizens get in free, but please book ahead. You can get your tickets from our wonderful box office lady Judith Neal on 01949 860 713. I'll just say that again, 01949 860 713. So please come along and see us.
And that's Judith Neal.
Yeah, brilliant.
And a couple of other mentions I'd just like to give before we close off. I'd like to give a mention to Jonathan Neal, who does a wonderful job with the stage. He spends countless Saturdays putting our stage up. And obviously to Richard Headley, who's our musical director, who's responsible for songs like we've just heard. And he does a brilliant job. Paul Stewart, who's helping with the directing this year, who's taking some of the burden off of Eddie, so I mentioned to him as well, and obviously to Kevin Beckham for doing the scenery and the programme, and that's a big job getting the programme together. And have I missed anyone?
I don't think so.
Right. $95 part to finish with. Why this one, Paul?
Because this is a cool bouncy song, and it's also in the panto. Thank you.
Thank you much, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with the show.
Bye bye.